Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. What is Joe Lubin hiding? We have a new clip for you. You won't believe it. And Prometheum, the CCP-backed company, is back, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the investigation? John Deaton sits down with ETHGate whistleblower today, and Bank of Indonesia, 12 other banks, and XRP. You're going to love it. And Ripple and Mastercard, and so much more. If you just roll the beautiful intro. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.66 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 1.8% at the moment, 42,200 plus for Bitcoin, 2,100 plus for Ethereum, and we see Tether market cap is 90.7 billion plus right now. Number 5 spot is 60 cents XRP, and we're up 0.7 on the 24-hour, off by 2.7 on the 7-day. Let's get into this. We'll worry about the price range later. Right now, it is linked to, ladies and gentlemen, it is the best home for private equity. And look at these numbers. Over 322 million in total investments, over 569,000 registered users, 48 incredible companies available. I tell you, this is the opportunity right here. They have the most affordable minimums in the private equity space. And all you need to do, and these opportunities are for all you need to do is sign up and register today to get involved and get started. Make sure you check out the link to my sponsor below. Oh, look at this. Boy, do we know 2-3 years ago, we knew all about stuff like this. However, according to Crypto Basics here, and DJ Peter Vast, give him a follow, XRP survives as Uphold delist Shiba Inu, Cardano, Dogecoin, and others in Canada. But not XRP, ladies and gentlemen, because we have legal clarity. And I don't say this to make fun of the other assets. I say this because it is extremely important that we get clarity for the entire space and not just one asset. That's why I say it. But hang in there, everybody. We have been there. We have been there. No doubt about it. I think the only difference may be is you actually have our support where we may not have had everyone else's, right? That may be the only difference. Ripple CTO David Schwartz explains why XRP and XLM price move together, or does he? This coming from Mr. Hubert, shout out to him. How exactly do the Ripple dumping people explain XLM's performance? David Schwartz shares this. CoinMarketCap makes it easy to compare the charts of various tokens. Here's XRP versus XLM over the past year. And look at it. It is incredible how it mirrors that, right? So if we go to that understanding and then go to this, it's actually further down on this tweet here. David says, I think there are a variety of factors that might be at play, and it's hard to know which are real. One thing that is all digital assets track each other significantly. I think that's because the market is still trying to figure out if they're going to be a thing, and so industry news affects all tokens. I believe this, says David Schwartz. He goes on to say, some have speculated that all tokens track Bitcoin because a huge fraction of the liquidity is to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin price moves, it moves the price of all other assets because there's not much drive to change the price with respect to Bitcoin. I'm not sure I believe this, he says. As for why particular assets correlate more strongly, such as XRP, XLM, I think it could be at least partly because people think of them as requiring similar conditions to succeed or fail. But I'm not sure I really believe that. So he throws a few options out there, but who knows what to believe. But you know what? Speaking of knowing what to believe, Stephen Nareyoff here, whistleblower, ETHGate, drops a clip here talking with Joseph Lubin, who says, this is exactly what he says. Exactly. And again, as we've discussed, there's a tension between running an open, transparent organization and protecting ourselves. And so maybe we agreed to be open and transparent, except for everything from 90 days ago and to the past, because it's all gone. Sort of like the way cryptocurrencies were. There isn't a trail if you don't want there to be. Well, today at 3 p.m., Stephen Nureyev is going to be live with John Deaton. We will bring you the highlights from it. But listen to this. This is what Joseph Lubin said. Listen to what he says.
And again, as we've discussed, there's a tension between running an open, transparent organization and protecting ourselves. And so maybe we agree to be open and transparent, except for everything from 90 days ago and past, because it's all gone. It's sort of like the way cryptocurrencies work. You can, there isn't a trail if you don't want there to be.
There isn't a trail if you don't want there to be. We'll be transparent about everything except for everything from 90 days ago. Obviously, this was earlier in the fundraising rounds, right, when they were getting rid of all of that, trying to make Ethereum look more decentralized by using disguised whales, was it? I believe, Joseph Lubin? Isn't that what it was? I can't wait till we see this later today, 3 p.m. Don't miss it. If you do, we'll bring you the highlights. Then there's this guy. Oh, yeah. This is Aaron Kaplan you're going to hear from in this clip here. Remember him? The co-CEO of Prometheum? The one who testified in front of Congress that Wanzang blockchain backed by the CCP was not affiliated with them at all? Remember that guy? Yeah. Well, here he is here.
Why is there such a resounding chorus from people in the industry who say we don't have the right regulations, and and there's so much more going on overseas than there is here in the U.S.
So a lot of the people have made arguments that we need new regulations because existing regulations can't properly regulate digital assets, or the people who essentially need new regulations to be compliant. A lot of the systems have been built to deal with digital assets more as payment instruments as opposed to securities or regulated financial instruments. And in order for a lot of the entrenched players to come into compliance, it would require, one, a significant tech rebuild to deal with how actually digital assets have to be treated and handled and custodied as securities, as well as obtaining the proper licenses to be able to conduct those activities. So there's been some pushback in that respect, in that the difficulties for those players to come into compliance leads to a lot of negativity coming from them. Now,
well, is there anybody today who's in compliance, who's trading digital securities in a compliant? I mean, you've got the only license, is my understanding, and you're not trading yet.
Great question.
We will be very soon.
Yes, but as of today, you're not, and so.
But it's a transition, Lou. Like you had to transition from.
Agreed, but we've been trading for years outside of the U.S.
People have lost billions of dollars. And
as they have in the stock market, right? Bernie Madoff had a scam for 30 years.
That's an easy argument, though. Like basically, what about?
But what is FINRA? How many thousands of cases of scams does FINRA have right now that they're dealing with? That's why FINRA exists, to deal with the unlimited number of scams that you get, because that's what people do. They scam, and as a country, we have to decide, okay, we have to protect investors, but at some point, right, it's a balance. You have to protect them, but then you have to allow them to, if there's new technology and new things coming, right, how do you balance the protection?
Why can't the existing regulations handle the new technology? We were able to transition.
But nobody is doing it. But you're saying that people can. But meanwhile, here we are, how many years later, and there's not a single person in the United States that actually has a license and is operating and doing this.
Well, we look forward to fulfilling that void then.
Yes.
The arrogance of this guy is just out of control. There's no question. And great questions from Lou Kerner, because he's actually pressing him to the point to go, well, wait, you have a license and you've had it for years. You're sitting here bragging to me that nobody's got their stuff together except you and Prometheum. So why haven't you got a long list of clients, and why aren't you up and active? And then he says, well, because people have lost billions of dollars. We're just waiting, right? Well, what are you waiting for? If you're the solution, why in the hell would you ever wait? Because something isn't right about it. That's why, right?
Buddy, there's not a single person in the United States that is actually has a license and is operated in doing this.
Well, we look forward to fulfilling that void then.
Yes.
You guys, Prometheum, and you specifically, because you were the spear point, during the Senate hearings, the House of Representatives, you were sort of like the poster child of Prometheum. And do you feel like the optics from at least my circle, and 95% viewed you as like an 80s style villain there? Do you, I guess, what is, and that whether it's looks or whatever, that was what the term that was stuck out. And so does Prometheum or you care that you have that look? And what are you doing to change that? Or are you trying to change that? Or do you like, we don't care, we're winning. We got the license and we're going to try to do this right the way we see it? Or are you going to try to bring other people to the table to be like, we're trying to just kick open the door and get this done. And once it's done, then we can bring everyone else in.
We've been doing this a long time. Oh. We wrote our first no action letter in 2014. We wrote our second no action letter, I think it's 2017, 2018. We've been in this space a long time. We've always had the belief that the securities laws were the best way to allow the American public to responsibly participate in the space. We have a different viewpoint than the majority of the industry, and we understand that. But what we saw, particularly in the events of 2022, is that the public needs to be properly protected here.
Well, the interesting is 2022 is citing the FTX debacle, which we would have been properly protected had Gary Gensler not done a blind free pass for Sam Bankman fraud and actually took 1 second to look at his books and see what a dumpster fire it was, because Ray Charles could have seen it, right? But the reality here is that he's trying to cite that the only reason FTX happened was because we weren't treating everything like securities. But that doesn't explain at all the multiple times that FTX went in and met with Gary Gensler and how they still were given a license themselves and given a free pass to move forward.
And there's nothing wrong with protecting the public and doing what you think is right to hopefully allow people to have the proper disclosures, to have the fair and orderly markets, to have their assets properly segregated as they should, such that they're properly protected in custody. So,
and then he goes on to cite some pretty basic things that we all want to see take place, right? With separation of custody, obviously, is a basic thing. And it doesn't have to be a security for that to be a fantastic idea. The problem with this guy is not only his arrogance and bad haircut and the fact that he does look like an 80s villain and maybe even Corey Feldman's long-lost brother. And I could see why Corey probably doesn't want nothing to do with him either. But nevertheless, what I can say is that this is the problem with this guy. He's standing right here, and he testified in front of Congress that Prometheum was not connected to Juan Zhang, and Juan Zhang is absolutely backed by the red flag country and that government. Take a listen here.
The second advantage of what Prometheum has is we have SEC qualified tokens. Now, what does that mean? When you do a Reg A Plus offering, and any sort of public offering in the United States, the SEC either has to qualify or register those securities. And it's a bit of a process. It takes 4 to 6 months. But what that means is it basically opens up all the possibilities to you, because what you allow for is tokens that are available to all investors and free trading on the secondary market once listed on an ATS. And I would argue that that's the holy grail that's necessary in order for the token economy to flourish. Next, let's look at our issuance platform. So on the issuance side, you have a potential issuer, and they basically want to offer a token compliantly under the federal securities and laws in the United States. They fill out a Reg A Plus offering, and they get it qualified by the SEC, which is not, it's weird because qualified essentially is tacit approval of the offering. When the SEC gives its tacit approval, its qualification, that token becomes free trading and available to all investors. And again, that's super important for this economy to flourish. How is Prometheum going to list companies on its ATS? Where are we going to get companies from? A ATS, meaning an exchange, an alternative trading system, which is the equivalent of an exchange, needs an issuer pipeline. You need product by which to list on your platform. The second part of our issuer pipeline, oh, there we go, is Wangzhang-related entities. Prometheum's lead investor and technical co-founder is...
It's Prometheum's lead investor and technical co-founder. But that's not what he testified to in Congress. So there's no mistake to why today digital asset investor is back and asking the right question. How's that investigation going into his company's CCP affiliation with Wangzhang blockchain, Senator Tuberville and Representative Blaine? Yeah, how is that going? No wonder we have seen the crypto industry rally with the top industry leaders coming together to participate in a super PAC, contributing $78 million from companies like Ripple and Coinbase and Kraken and others to make sure that we get a voice, because it's the only way to get a voice is to pay for it. Then there's this Bank of Indonesia paper, and it might be a little older, but it's still real good. This gives you an idea about where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. They state there's no way Bitcoin could have replaced central banks' monetary policy and fiat currencies globally, which is why we're now waiting for the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs, because it is being deemed an investment product, right? This also happens to mention that the experiment that went on with the Bank of Indonesia and 12 other banks utilizing XRP as a bridge currency to connect fiats. And you're going to love it. It does say right here, there was no way Bitcoin could have replaced central banks' monetary policies and fiat currencies globally. It goes on to say here, Ripple software, which is that you still have to pre-fund with each other, but that's until you bring XRP into the mix. Can you help us with liquidity? He says, can you help us with liquidity gap out there? It says, yeah, in 2016, we came up with an experiment with 12 banks that did not have any pre-funding relationship with one another. We gave them a bunch of XRP, which is a digital asset, and asked them to use it as a bridge currency. In the past, pre-funding looked something like the slides that are shown. And then it says here, the leverage the digital asset to sort liquidity in real time. We gave a bunch of XRP to those first banks and asked them to participate in this experiment to settle using XRP as a bridge asset to connect fiats. After 6 months, they came back and said, this is great. This works well in principle, but my regulatory division will not allow me to do this for 2 reasons. And it goes on to express those. Now, this is back in 2016, right? But then it goes on to explain the whole process and how you could use XRP in cross-border transactions for 0.00001 cents. It might have gone up to 0.00008 cents. You know what I mean? It might be where it is today. But that is what we're talking about. This is what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Use case utility, just like this. Mastercard has chosen Ripple as a new partner in its efforts to explore and capture the expanding market for central bank digital currencies. This partnership is part of Mastercard's broader strategy to capitalize on the growing interest in CBDCs globally. Looking at this very quickly here, because it goes on to say as well, not only is it looking at that, Mastercard announced its recent partnership with Ripple, emphasizing a collaboration on several initiatives, not just CBDCs, but also collaborating to introduce cryptocurrency debit cards. These cards are designed to allow customers to make purchases at retail establishments using XRP, Ripple's native currency. The initiative aims to bring the convenience of traditional debit cards to cryptocurrency ecosystem, thereby significantly benefiting the XRP ecosystem. Come on in. This is the kind of adoption and fundamentals I want to see, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want to see. And strangely, Dark Defender says, Jim Cramer calls to get out from crypto while total market cap is talking differently. Only a few will survive and will handle $23 trillion by January 2025. All the money in circulation, including colossal debt, by January 27. This is not financial advice, but this is what he's showing here. Looking at the crypto total market cap and showing that the Elliott waves show a massive push over the next year or so, up into the 20 plus trillion, a pullback, and then another surge by 2027 up to 100 trillion. What will the price of XRP be then? I don't know, but I hope you'll join us in the Freedom Zone, where we're going to discuss and show you a real soft coup that is happening right now underway around the world, and it affects every country, and certainly the one you and I live in. And there's a sweeping action going on also to further control the food supply. We get into all of that in the Freedom Zone. Go to digperspectives.com and join us inside. And if you want a discount on XRP Las Vegas, you can get it there too. So make sure you join us for all of those things. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.